And welcome to the weeknight show with Aries Rose. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Aries Rose, and welcome to Aries Rose TV. Here we talk about movies, streaming shows, TV shows, celebrity news, pop culture, local news, world news. Basically, anything I find interesting, I come on and discuss with my Aries crew. And you know the drill. If you are a returning Aries crew member, leave hashtag Aries crew in the comments. If you're a first time watcher, leave first time watcher in the comments. I want to give you a shout out for stopping by. Tonight's topic that we're going to be talking about, it's going to be a short live tonight. We're going to be talking about Virginia Giuffre. And you may not be familiar with her name, but she was definitely one of the most well known and outspoken accusers of Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew. And she was a part of a lawsuit against Prince Andrew and I believe Jeffrey Epstein as well. So she had made some popularity, I would say, in the last few years with coming out to tell her story about how she was ex-trafficked by Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein and her experiences with that when she was a minor. And her story coming out helped other people to come out as well, which is what started to build the case against Jeffrey Epstein. And we all know how that ended in alleged self deletion. And we're going to talk about her passing. Virginia has passed away at age 41. So we're going to get into some reporting from TMZ. And then I'm going to share my thoughts on the subject. Heads up, this could be triggering. It is going to talk about self-deletion and some other topics that may be triggering as well. So if that is something you're not comfortable listening to, this may not be the live to join. Feel free to go ahead and click off. And we are going to get started into the first story here. So this was reported on Friday, April 25th. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure. That was Friday, and it is reporting that Virginia Giuffre has passed away at the age of 41 due to alleged self-deletion. We're going to read this reporting from TMZ. Virginia Giuffre, who publicly accused convicted ex-offender Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew of sexual abuse, has died by self-deletion. The Western Australia Police Force tells TMZ officers responded to a call on Friday at 9:50 p.m. local time after a 41-year-old woman was located unresponsive at a residence in near Gabby. Emergency first aid was provided, but she could not be revived. She was pronounced deceased at the scene. An investigation into Giuffre's passing is ongoing, but police note circumstances are not suspicious. Her family announced she passed away by taking her own life in a statement to People Friday while praising her as, quote, a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse and ex-trafficking, end quote. Meanwhile, her lawyer, Sigrid McCrawley, tells TMZ her dear friend Giuffre was fearless, adding her sunny strength was contagious and her smile spread hope to so many. As you know, Giuffre was one of the first people to come forward with abuse allegations against the late Epstein, claiming she was just 16 years old when his currently incarcerated conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, recruited her into a complex ex-trafficking ring. She claims she was forced to have sexual encounters with Epstein and others, including Prince Andrew. Giuffre and the disgraced British royal agreed to an out-of-court settlement in 2022 after she sued him for allegedly having adult interactions with her 3 times when she was a minor. So we're going to pause right there. That's kind of when her name fell on my radar. I want to say it was on Netflix, a documentary that was about what was going on with the particular Epstein situation because I had not really heard too much about it, so I didn't even know anything was going on until I saw that documentary, and boy, was that eye-opening. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll look up that documentary on Netflix, see if it's still there, and I'll do a post on it. Very interesting documentary for sure, and that's where Virginia kind of came onto my radar, was from there. And then I saw the interview that Prince Andrew did. I want to say it was with the BBC. And he did this a few years ago, and it was a it was probably one of the worst decisions that he ever made. I don't know what his intent was by doing that interview, but it did not make him come off very well at all. He was kind of just tripping all over his words. It sounded like he was making stuff up on the fly. So it was kind of hard to gauge whether or not she was being dishonest or if Prince Andrew was being dishonest. And in the whole equation, he had more to lose than she did. So you can kind of tell he was not he was not maybe telling the whole entire truth, and that was clearly the same impression that was given because that interview, had a lot of people questioning whether or not Prince Andrew did in fact do anything with this person when she was a minor. She did produce a photo that had Prince Andrew in there, herself and Ghislaine Maxwell as well, and this was allegedly taken in Ghislaine Maxwell's house, so that does prove that Prince Andrew had met her at some point and had some type of interaction, or at least had met Ghislaine Maxwell because all three of them were in the picture. So that definitely didn't help the prince as well. And then he ended up, I want to say he got stripped of his royal title by his mom as well. So there was some fallout for Prince Andrew for this connection with this particular situation, especially with Jeffrey Epstein himself as well. Let me know if you had a chance to see that interview that Prince Andrew did a few years ago on there. And if you did, what your thoughts were on that. Let me know in the comments. And if you are here on the live, let me know if you're a returning Aries Crew member by saying hashtag Aries Crew in the comments. If you are a first time watcher, leave first time watcher in the comments. I want to give you a shout out for stopping by. And we're going to finish up this first story reporting the passing of Virginia Giuffre. She was an outspoken accuser of Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew in an ex-trafficking ring that ended up, circling on a lot of big names. And let's finish up the story here. So, Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty on 5 accounts of ex-trafficking in 2021, and Epstein passed away by self-deletion in 2019 in a New York jail as he awaited trial on federal ex-trafficking charges. Giuffre was in the news just weeks before her passing, claiming she had only 4 days to live following a brutal car accident. At the time, she said she was, quote, ready, end quote, to pass, but wanted to see her kids. In her family statement, they said Giuffre decided to fight back against her alleged abusers. After she gave birth to her daughter, she's survived by 3 children, Christian, Noah, and Emily, whom she shared with her husband. May she rest in peace. So she did a social media post I want to say a couple weeks ago, where she had shown a picture of her face and it was bruised on one side, some bruising over here on the top by the forehead, on the cheek, and on the jawline, as well as kind of around the nose and the eye. And she was saying she only had 4 days to live because she was having renal failure after being involved in a car accident. So she was a passenger, as I understand from the reporting, in a vehicle that was hit by a school bus. So the picture that Virginia ended up posting at the time made it look like it was a really bad accident. However, some reporting from parents and the Australian authorities say it was a minor accident. So I don't know if that accident caused all of those injuries or how those injuries came to be on her. But according to those people, it was a minor accident. But Virginia saw it differently and said she didn't have that long to live after that. And she did outlive the 4-day prediction that she had initially said. But during that time, they had talked about she was getting divorced from her husband. I want to say she moved from the United States to Australia, so that's where she was living at the time of her passing, and I believe that's where she was staying with her family for quite some time. I don't think she just moved out there. She'd been living out there for a while, and they were having marital trouble. It's my understanding he had a restraining order on her, and she was unable to see her children. So when I was getting more of that backstory and seeing that photo that she had posted